October is here. We have the Galarian Expedition event going down. We have 4 new legendary shiny debuts coming to the game. We're going to discuss the update to that incense, and right at the end we're going to discuss a few tips to help you maximize everything. Let's get straight into those details. Shh. Kicking off with dates, it looks like it's taking place this Friday, the 4th of October, and it's going to be lasting for 7 days, all the way until the 11th of October at 8 p.m. local time. Spawning in the wild, we have Nidoran male, Nidoran female, Abra, Magnemite, Wailmer, Spheal, Aaron, Beldum, Sphinx, Fungus, Dedenne, Wooloo, and rare spawns for Chansey, Absol, and Emolga. Whew. We're gonna slot this in now because, guys, there are no bonuses during this event, but there is gonna be one main feature, and that main feature is gonna surround the daily incense. For the very first time in Pokemon Go, I can finally announce that we can encounter the shiny Galarian birds, which is of course gonna be the Galarian Moltres, Galarian Articuno, and the Galarian Zapdos in their shiny forms, which is incredible. Guys, bear in mind that when you encounter these Pokemon off an incense, I think the catch rate for a normal legendary is about 2%, but the catch rate on the Galarian bird has always been about 0.3%, and I think over the last 9 months or so, they've increased it just very slightly, but we don't know what the number actually is. It looks like, but it looks like the main change that they're going to be doing to this incense is that they're going to be changing or kind of reorganizing the pool of Pokemon that can spawn from these incenses, because it seems like whenever people would upload images, it seemed like you would get a whole bunch of everything from literally Kanto Pokemon all the way up to Galar, but it seems like now they're going to make it a little bit more specific. We don't know those details just yet, but I think the main feature is what everyone came here for, those shiny Galarian birds. So remember, try and use a Golden Berry as well as an Ultra Ball. We don't know if it is going to be a guaranteed catch, because remember, the shiny legendaries are always going to be a guaranteed catch, so it's important to remember that. We have 5-star raids going down. Coming from those, we can get Zamazenta. Bear in mind, it's going to be in raids from the 4th all the way until the 14th, but for the very first time in Pokemon Go, we can encounter shiny Zamazenta. I believe the shiny rate is going to be 1 in 20, a beautiful shiny at that. The non-weather boosted 100% IV is going to be 2188 CP, and the weather boosted 100% IV is going to be 2735, and remember, that is going to be in cloudy weather. There is one main reason you want to go after the Zamazenta. Of course, the shiny is beautiful, definitely go after that, but as a fighting type raid attacker, it actually takes the 7th spot, which I didn't realize, but I think that is really impressive, and because it's going to be in raids for so long, that's a good time to get as many of those as possible. A global collection challenge will be active again surrounding catching and evolving Pokemon, and the rewards there are going to be some XP and some Ultra Balls and some encounters with certain Pokemon. Field research will also be available. They have not detailed which Pokemon are going to be in there this time, but we can also get some XP, some Stardust, and some certain items too. Returning again will be those Pokestop showcases. Remember to enter those Pokemon in their XXL forms to get some premium rewards. All trainers around the world will finally get the chance to get another Master Ball. The Masterwork research for a total cost of $8, which in my opinion, that's a little bit steep. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get this, but it looks like, of course, we can get 1 Master Ball, 18,000 XP, 10,000 Stardust, encounters with certain Galarian Pokemon like Farfetch'd and Mr. Mime, and more. I'm not gonna get this. Now it's time for our top tips. Okay, to be honest, I actually have one main one, and I'm pretty excited to share this because, to be honest, I've noticed over time this feature is getting used less and less and less, but this event is the perfect time to do this. Guys, if you want to catch those shiny Galarian birds and you want to encounter them as many times as possible or increase the chance of that, I have just the thing for you to do. We want you to use the Roar of Time feature, which is going to be on Dialga. The reason why you want to do this is that, guys, if you look at those instructions very carefully, it pauses the timer for 6 minutes per time that you use it. So it is going to cost a little bit of Dialga candy as well as the Stardust, but you should have enough through all those raids we did during the Sinnoh tour. But guys, use this. You can pause the timer up until 2 hours. We're going to leave an example right now. As you can see, I've just activated this daily incense and it's ticking down on its own. Look what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go to my Dialga and use this Roar of Time feature, which is going to pause the timer for 6 minutes at a time. I can do this all the way up for 2 hours, which means that your daily incense, it is going to be a hefty cost, but your daily incense is going to be lasting oh, what is it, like over 2 hours, guys. That is broken, which means it's gonna seriously increase the chance of you seeing all of those Galarian birds. I just saw a post on Reddit actually where one guy did this for an hour and he saw all 3 birds in the 1 hour. Of course, he didn't get them because they flee. Remember that we're trying to maximize the time so we can try and see these Pokemon as often as possible so we can increase the chance of finding that shiny. Tip number 2 is going to surround targets. So we're going to blow through these very quickly because there are some features here and some Pokemon that are pretty cool. The first one is going to be Fungus. Look out for Fungus. This Pokemon is a permanently boosted Stardust Pokemon that grants you 500 Stardust per catch. If you see a lot of them in the wild, or if they were the boosted and you see a lot of them, throw in that star piece. It could be a great time to get some Stardust. The next one we'll look at is going to be that Abra, which goes into a Mega Alakazam. A very underrated Mega and a variation of things, but especially as a fairy attacker. This Pokemon could be very useful as well when you battle that Mewtwo or that Shadow Mewtwo, because remember it has access to Shadow Ball, so that's very useful. And next one we would look at is Magnemite, which goes into Magnezone, a pretty budget rate attacker on the steel as well as the electric type of things. Go after this if you don't have any electric attackers. Of course, whenever we see Beldum in the wild, we're going to highlight that because Beldum going into that Metagross, especially into eventually that Mega Metagross, which might actually be coming in the next few months. This Pokemon is an absolute destroyer. It will be undeniably the best steel type attacker in the game. I think it takes the second or third spot already in that Shadow and that regular form Metagross, so very useful Pokemon. And lastly, don't forget about Absol. Absol is one Mega Pokemon that hardly comes into Mega Raids, and it only comes in around this Halloween time, but remember to hunt as many of those and get that candy, and remember when that Mega Energy comes around to get that too. Don't forget about Swaddle Community Day, which is going to be this Saturday on the 5th, and don't forget about the Galarian Expedition taken over. We're going to be covering that as well, a brand new rocket takeover. We can't wait to bring it for you all. Go with us. Love you guys, and we'll catch you in the next one, baby. Shh.